Aloha, welcome back. As you can see, we have a new piece of equipment, or maybe just an expensive toy. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it at this point, because I don't even know if I'm going to keep it. I'm going to cut right to the chase. I'm not going to leave you hanging till the end, but I am going to tell you, not only is this a very economical solution to the $600 product I talked about last week in my last video, this was a fraction of the cost. And it does an okay job. If you go back a few years, you'll know I did a whole episode on ice, and it's crazy. My videos don't get like a lot of views, but this one on ice had like thousands of views. Obviously, not every video I make could be about ice, but this time it is about ice makers because they've come down in cost. They've come down from $600 to $500. This one was under $200. And the funny thing is that we are in the Walmart, and my wife sees it, and she says, wow, this one's half price. It's only about $250, I think. And I said, okay, it's not the more expensive model or the more expensive brand. And she says, wait a minute, let me check. And she goes on to her app, or whatever it was, and she sees that she could get this for under $200 with free shipping, no less. So we call over the store manager and we say, hey, listen, here's your product. There's one on the shelf, but on your website, it's like $75 cheaper. And they're like, we're sorry, you have to order it online. I'm like, well, why order it online? You're gonna have to pay for delivery to my house, or I just have to come back and pick this one up that's sitting on the shelf, because I know you have a central database, and you know you have two in the system that I could see on the shelf. And she's like, well, you know, they're trying to separate the online from the in-store, so you have to buy it online, but you could pick it up here. And I had this problem once before. I don't know what their tactic is. I don't know if they're trying to say, well, we make more money online than in the store, so this is going to count as a loss, so we get more money off our taxes. I don't know what these big corporations are doing, but it's not working, at least not for the consumer. Because here's the reality. We ordered it right there in the store thinking that it's going to pop up and we could just take the one off the shelf and get it for 75 bucks cheaper. No email, no email. Finally, we're about to check out, and there's an email saying that it'll be ready to pick up after 11 a.m. tomorrow. So great, I got to drive all the way back to the store tomorrow to pick this up. So we're driving home, and I make a joke. No, I'll get about halfway home, and then we're going to get the email saying it's ready for pickup. And my wife, being more sarcastic than me, says, no, we're going to go home. You're going to pour your first glass of wine. You're going to start the grill. Then you're going to get the email saying it's okay to come pick up. Turns out, the woman is always right. I took my first sip of wine. The grill's been going for about 5 minutes. We get an email saying it's ready at the store for pickup. Turn off the grill, put the wine in the fridge to chill, go back to the store. Not really far. It's about a 20-minute drive, but 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. We're really hungry, but now dinner is delayed another hour. Okay, so I'm home. And it seems like there's some prep for this, which is not a big deal. So I will tell you right off the bat, if you think you're just going to take this home, plug it in, and get ice within 10 minutes, like they say, you're not going to. You're going to need a couple of hours of prep time at the least. Comes with this very easy to read set of instructions, and they tell you right off the bat, clean the system out. I'm going to take their advice. I don't know where this has been, how long it's been in transit, or even if somebody else bought this and returned it. So yeah, I'm going to take the time to clean this, and you just need a little bit of bleach and about 3 cups of water. It's got to go through the cleaning process. Then you have to go ahead and flush out any of that bleach taste. And yeah, that's going to take about another 3 to 5 cycles, they said. And I think I did about 4 or 5 cycles. Each time you fill this up, it's about 1 liter or 2 of water. You got to flush it out. You got to drain it. and then you can start making ice. About 2 or 3 hours later, after dinner, I started making some ice. And immediately, I was really not too enthusiastic. The problem is this unit is not refrigerated. I wouldn't expect it to be. But what happens is it's making ice so slowly, only about 3 to 4 or 5 at a time, that by the time it hits this bottom tray, which is warm, the ice obviously starts to melt. So you're going to get a thin layer of water, and you really got to let the ice build up so that you could drain the water and pull the ice out. My second thought was to refrigerate this little compartment so when the ice hits it, it doesn't melt as quickly. But then this thing kept popping out because I guess because it's from the cold, it retracts and it doesn't stay in place. If you pop this part out, it doesn't make ice because it thinks you removed it. So you either got to tape that button shut, or you got to put sponges down there to absorb some of the water so the ice just falls on top. I don't know. That's one of the drawbacks of this machine. Again, from previous episodes, you know that my biggest problem with some of these fast food chains is I don't know what kind of water they're putting in there. Is it distilled water? Is it purified water? Is it spring water? Is it water from the tap? I don't know. I tried to write corporate. They didn't really give me a reply. And then I asked the obvious question is, how often do you clean these machines? This one says, clean it every week if you use it daily. I don't know how often they clean the units in the store. I know that these fast food restaurants are using a lot of fryers. There's a lot of oil in the air. I don't know the quality conditions. And when I was a teenager, I worked in some of these fast food restaurants, so I know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. So they can't tell me the type of water, and they can't tell me how often they clean it. So my issue is I like nice clean ice, and I like to use the water. I know what's going into the ice because ice is obviously more than 50% of your drink at times. And yes, I'm a real fanatic about ice. I ran into my neighbor down the street, and he's in refrigeration, and believe it or not, we had a half-hour conversation about ice. No joke. He's even showed me a book that he's reading about ice, and I gotta get that. I'm just a fanatic about water and ice. I always have been. Again, I could use whatever kind of water I want, but right now I'm just using your typical Deer Park or Poland Spring. I wanted to use the Fiji water, but there's going to be some waste. They say in about 24 hours you can have 40 pounds of ice, but a lot of that is water waste. I don't feel like throwing my expensive water out. If I know I put 1 liter in and I could get the same amount of ice out, great. But I know half of that I'm throwing out. So right now I'm just using regular spring water. My friend Ken over at Exotica Modern Magazine, he has one. He says he's using distilled water to prevent the calcium buildup. I don't know if you just use the bleach solution once a week if that's going to work, or if it's a pain in the neck, or what the story is, but I like spring water. The other issue is how does this compare to the one you're buying in the store? The thing I love about the store is I get I don't know if it's 5 or 10 pounds, but I get it for $2. I'm in and out of the store in about 15 minutes, plus the drive. So yeah, in about a half hour, I could have good ice, and the ice that this produces is about half the size of that at Chick-fil-A. Sonics are a little bit smaller, but rumor has it that Starbucks is going to start making pellet ice. Those units that they have in the fast food restaurants cost thousands of dollars. Especially in the summer, I don't want to drive to the store, wait online, and get a bag of ice. Don't know the quality of the water, don't know how clean the machine is. But at the end of the day, this 3-pound bag of ice took me about 3 hours to make. Because what I find is you got to go in there and you got to scoop off the top. Leave that bottom layer of ice cold. Keep scooping off the top. Drain the water if you have to. Put it in the bag. It's still wet ice, so you got to have to smash it on the counter. Not too hard, don't break the counter, but crush it on the counter. Let it sit, let it refreeze, then you can dump it into your ice bucket for use. This only costs a few $100, but I'd much rather spend $200 on something than $500 or $600 for the same exact thing. As far as the warranty goes, and when's it going to break, they're all going to break. They're all going to break within 5 years. Less. I can't tell you how much money I've spent on appliances, and either 4 or 5 years, they break. It doesn't matter the quality. You buy the top brand, it breaks sometimes faster than the one of the lower quality brand. No joke. Bought a machine, a coffee machine, had a built-in espresso maker. We spent a lot of money for it. 11 months into the warranty, it broke. And I called him and I said, well, listen, it's only 11 months. Can you replace it? No, we got to do a test. You got to ship it back. I think the shipping alone would be more than what it was worth. We just went out and bought another one. All the appliances break. I don't care if they're dishwashers. I don't care if they're washing machines. I don't care if they're little coffee makers. I don't care if they're small $100 appliances. For whatever reason, everything breaks within 4 or 5 years. It's been my experience over the last 20 years. And the guy I was talking about with the refrigeration system unit, he goes, all the ones that are still in use were still built back in the 90s. Something happened in Y2K in the 21st century. They only build things to last, or they're using plastic parts. I don't know, but don't spend a lot of money on something that's going to break. Back to the machine. As you can see, it's a real monster. I can't leave this on the bar. Maybe I could leave it on top of the little mini fridge I have back here, but I can't even put it in the kitchen because this takes up more room as the air fryer. And there's just no room left in the kitchen. In the first batch of ice, I had to throw out because, as you could see, because I didn't break it up and crush it and refreeze it, it just turned into a big block of ice. I had to feed it to the lemon tree. I'm sure the lemon tree is very happy because it's been like 90 degrees like all summer here, or at least it seems like it. So, am I going to keep this unit? I feel guilty about returning it because I have used it, but I've spent about 20 hours and all my time and all my gas and all my energy, the electricity, the water, to make 3 pounds of ice. Yeah, I could have went to Sonic, and instead of spending $200, I could have gotten 3 times as much for like 1/10 the cost. And I feel guilty because, again, I did use it. I'm not completely satisfied with it, but I know every time I do that and I return something, this is what inflates the cost for everybody. My biggest pet peeve is when you go to the salad bar and you just want something real quick, or the hot buffet, and you see somebody in there and they got their little tray of food and they're popping it in their mouth as they continue to shop. Well, guess what? They're going to weigh that when you get to the register, and half of it's gone, and that's why the hot food buffet and the salad bars are $9 instead of 90 cents. I could buy a whole bag of carrots for 90 cents, but they're charging me the same carrots. By the way, pro tip, when food on the shelf is about to expire, they just cut those bags open, whether it be lettuce or carrots or whatever, and they dump them into the salad bar. So just walk over to where the fresh fruits and vegetables are and buy a package of those for 99 cents rather than maybe pay $9 a pound at the food bar. Am I going to keep this? I'm conflicted. I really am. I do like it. I like the convenience. I like the quality of the water. I do like the fact that I have control over the cleaning mechanism, and it's even got an ultraviolet light in here that kills bacteria. It's an old catering hall trick. What am I going to do? Well, I'm not going to wait 30 days. I'm going to decide within the next few days and decide whether I'm going to return it this weekend. So, I gave you my honest thoughts up front. Whether I'm going to return it or not, I'm going to let you know by the time I make another episode. Till next time, mahalo and cheers.
Isn't happy hour any time?